It's the Britt Rochelle Show. Do 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 do. That's me.
As the new kid in South Park, I went through a lot during the events of the Stick of Truth. Yes, it was an epic fantasy adventure, and a lot very interesting events went down. But I'm finally feeling secure in myself. I've got a great group of new friends. I'm finally in tune with all of my abilities, and I really think things are looking up for me now. Shit. Alright, back to square one. South Park, The Fractured Butthole, is a direct follow-up to The Stick of Truth, but joke's on me, we're playing superheroes now. And our main goal in this one is to find Scrambles, the long-lost missing cat, as well as get our super profitable superhero franchise off the ground. It's my job, really my duty, to get into Coon and Friends and make all the friends I can and all the followers on Coonstagram. It's a reasonable follow-up. My powers in the last game were making friends really quickly, so why not transfer that to the digital realm? Speaking of which, we're playing superheroes now. I need to change my clothes. Just 1 second here. Alright. That's more like it. You really are starting at square one here in the Fractured Butthole. There's a lot more customization options right off the get, which I absolutely loved. A big complaint of mine about the Stick of Truth was that there's only like one gender, I guess. You're just like, you're new kid, but you're obviously a boy. But there's new girls in South Park too. But you get to choose your hair, your skin, your difficulty level, all of that stuff. And you're really, in this game, figuring out exactly who you are as a person as you fill out your character sheet. But the first thing, the most important thing, is of course talking to the Coon, about your class. Who are you gonna be? A speedster? I'm fast as fuck, boy! Maybe you wanna be a brawler? Or maybe you want to be a psychic. Can move stuff with your mind.
Ow! What the
Yes!
hell?
Nailed it. Each class comes with its own unique abilities, and don't worry, you're not just limited to one class. You'll eventually get the ability to dual class, triple class, and fuck it, just have all the abilities. Why not? The Coon actually takes a lot of liberties with you, not just because he makes the rules, but because of your tragic backstory, which I don't think I have the heart to get into right now. It's too tragic. Like most classic South Park adventures, The Fractured Butthole really just takes on a whole world of themes. The main one, this one, of course, being superhero franchises. When The Fractured Butthole came out was at the height of the Marvel mania, all the superhero movies, and Cartman really takes it to heart in his newest get-rich-quick scheme, as Scrambles is a missing cat with a $100 reward. Once he gets Coon and Friends together, the plot is simple. Find Scrambles, get the reward, use the reward money to get the superhero franchise off the ground and sold to Netflix for a big ol' wad of cash. Naturally, things go very, very quickly and steeply awry as the kids get in way over their heads and tackle a lot of important issues like racism in the police, eldritch horrors, time travel plots. Yeah, your fart powers have really evolved in this one. And you even get help from lots of helpful characters, some familiar, some new, like Morgan Freeman an ally of yours who really lets you harness the power of your ass, as well as other things. Something the game does really well is really just get into the meta, if you will, of how kids play. Take Cousin Kyle, for example. Kyle Bravlovsky's really annoying cousin who just comes into town sometimes and is the most insufferable kid to play with you could imagine. You remember that kid that was just so sensitive he couldn't get knocked around, and so he just last minute made up rules so that he wouldn't get hurt and he couldn't lose? That's Kyle. Also, they really make fun of a lot of how kids are constantly on their phones now. You're not going outside and playing kickball or making superhero groups. You're on your phone scrolling through Instagram and, well, Coonstagram, and just trying to get popular, because that's really what the kids need these days, right? Their cell phones. Yeah. Speaking of which, hang on. So let me take care of something real quick. Consolidating my inventory, important things. Right. So all your loading screens, your power-ups, your might level, fast travel, all of that's controlled from your handy-dandy cell phone here in the fractured butthole. You can even call your friends for assistance when you can't reach things. For example, if you can't get anywhere high enough and you see a little pinwheel, it's usually a sign that you can call upon good old human kite to fart-core your way to the highest point that has the secret thing you need, or the mission item you need to acquire. We haven't gotten past the good old, let's call it an anal adventure from the Stick of Truth. Now, if you've got something electrical you need to deal with, call upon good old Professor Chaos, who has stopped his tyranny of chaos to help you by taking his pet gerbil and helping you out. There's a lot of new mechanics that come off really intimidating at first, but as you play it, they become more and more intuitive. I actually utilized the search feature in this one, which helped me out with a lot of the more puzzle-based challenges. But not just using the search feature is all you need to do. You definitely want to explore your environment for all the little secrets, all the scrap you can find, all the little costume implements. You can craft things. You can craft your own summons in this one. Go to Macaroni Pictures. Summon Moses, the Hebrew god, to heal all your enemies. Or eventually you can get a burner phone and call it good old Classy to really help you amp up the combat. And I actually use the summons in this one, so I'm gonna go me. There are some things that are the same though, like stocking up on food items in order to heal yourself and your opponents. There's new things like revive serums. Cheesy poofs are a thing of the past. Now you can stock up on whole different kinds of Mexican delicacies like quesadillas, burritos, enchiritos, though it's really, the enchiritos are a really special one that you gotta get from Morgan Freeman himself. And far away from the days of the turn-based combat from the original game, Fractured Butthole operates on a combat system of grid-based strategy, which I was really concerned about at first because I barely got used to the turn-based methods in the Stick of Truth. But I found it a lot easier to plan. I didn't have to worry about armor shredding as much. There are some, shields you have to get past, different area of effect things, status effects, but I found them a lot easier to understand. I don't know if it's just a better combat system for me, or if they just did better program-wise, but whatever it is, I liked it a lot better. And of course, you're never playing by yourself. You do have friends. You can play with up to 3 comrades at the time, and switch them out as needed. Something that is really important to understand, really. For example, when I was fighting the giant mutant cousin Kyle, I quickly found out Wonder Tweak was not the best guy to have on my team, as mutant cousin Kyle's pretty much immune to all status effects except enrage. You really want to go pure melee damage on that one. Well, it doesn't have to be melee damage, but at least make sure you can hit hard and do a lot of damage. Whereas with the Eldritch Horror, the Shenanigans? Let's go with that. Most combat rounds, you have to defeat all the enemies on the field in order to win. Though some of them do have different objectives. Say with that Eldritch Horror I just mentioned, you can't do direct damage to it. Its main weakness is white meat. So you have to make sure that your opponents are in that area of effect so that when his turn comes up, he eats them and takes damage. So you can't do direct damage, and you really shouldn't worry too much about status effects in that one. Any character or friend of yours that has knockback, that's really the way to go. The Fractured But Whole is as immersive as ever. Yet again, I get to jump into the world of South Park, free roam all around, unless you come across lava. That comes later, which geniusly depicted by just a bunch of Legos strewn about, like, ha, that's lava, you can't cross it. But of course, once you can blow it away with good old tool shed, you're good. But as I was saying, you free roam around South Park, you are in an episode, a long-running one, or long-winded one, naturally, but still. It looks just like the town, it's a perfect layout, the art direction is just pulled straight from the show, and the music, it swells, it feels like a superhero action movie, just like the superhero arc in the TV show. And even with the new, all the meta jokes about kids being on their cell phones too much, even I found that immersive. Instead of pulling up, again, like a loading screen, if I need to fast travel with Jimmy, I'm not just whipping out, like, some random loading screen. I'm pulling up my phone and calling my friend. Hey, can you give me a lift? Thanks. The main question I had for myself as I was exploring my identity, as well as the town of South Park and every magical, mystical thing it has to offer, which did I like better, the Stick of Truth or the Fractured But Whole? Initially, I thought the Fractured But Whole didn't have as good of a story or as satisfying as an ending of the first one. But as I played more and more of it, and as I thought about it more, I really thought it really captured the spirit of the modern child and all of its flaws and not flaws. Like, yes, there was a really, really good way that they explained how kids are just always on their phones, lots of funny jokes about that. But overall, it's about friendship, camaraderie, and the popularity of superheroes. One thing I did love was the DLC bus, which DLC being downloadable content, they're just extra stories that you can do if the main story just wasn't enough for your South Park loving gamer heart. And if I could have done anything different about my own gameplay, I would have finished the DLC way before I finished the main story. There's extra classes, extra characters, and a lot of cool extra experiences that just expands the world of South Park and just enriches the experience as a whole. One thing I found challenging is that I overthought a lot of the puzzles. I was really using the search function, doing the math in my head, trying to figure out how do I solve this conundrum to get to the next step, when often the answer was just walk a little further to the right. I guess the only thing I could think of that I didn't love about the game, I didn't hate it, but it's kind of like a love-hate thing. So you can talk to the Coon pretty much at any time throughout the game to change your class and abilities. And I thought that was really cool because it allows the flexibility to try all the different classes and abilities without having to completely create a whole new save file and start over, But all that kind of seemed moot when you get to the point, spoiler alert, when Professor X, aka Timmy, just gives you all the abilities anyway, so you can just cycle through everything and mix and match. On a gameplay level, awesome. I thought that was sweet. But in terms of the story, I just thought, why is the new kid getting such special treatment? How come I not only got a dual class and a triple class, but all the classes? It doesn't really even mess up the replay value of the game, because there's so much to do. There's a lot of side quests, mini missions. Again, the DLC is fabulous, so I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting thing to add in there. But overall, I did think it was an amazing experience. It's one of my favorite games right now. And normally, when I finish a game, I'm just ready to move on to the next thing. But I could see myself playing the Fractured But Whole until I exceed well beyond 100%ing it. Anyway, it just feels like a really cool game where they didn't skip any details, from self-deprecating humor, mini games, exploring other game genres. It's just another really just masterpiece of Matt and Trey Parker. And of course everyone else on the team that made this game the beautiful, beautiful experience that it is. Thank you so much for watching my super peachy review of South Park: The Fractured But Whole. Please let me know, slide into my DMs. Have you played this game? Have you played any South Park game? What was your experience with it? What class did you choose? I gotta go fight crime, but until the next review, I hope you stayed peachy. Wait up, guys! Hey! Shoot! Someone just left all these Legos here. Well, I don't have any other choice.